Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and I can't even believe we are back for another live show. But you know what? It's Friday, and let's get this Friday happy hour going. My name is Mitchell Renz. You guys are watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here on today's live show, I kind of want to do a little bit of a Raiders-Seahawks recap, kind of just discussing some of the big winners and losers on both sides of the football for the Silver and Black on today's stream. And if you already watched the video that I put out earlier today, it's going to be just a little bit of a highlight and recap, if you will, of that segment already. Another segment that I'm going to be doing on today's show, a 53-man roster projection. And when I woke up this morning, I thought I was going to do Raiders on the hot seat. But I was like, yeah, you know what? I felt like I was bitching and moaning enough late last night, early this morning, about how the Raiders didn't play all that well. So I was like, well, why don't we look at what this roster could potentially look like instead after that first preseason game up against the Seattle Seahawks. Then the other segment we're going to be doing, which we always do on Friday, is a Raiders Report mailbag. So if you want to get your questions, you want to get your comments in, use hashtag Raiders or you could super chat. I already see Knight did. I already see Preston did down below. Really appreciate you. Then we're going to be doing a duck race. If you want to get some money, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. We are also going to be giving away a fantasy football spot. Yesterday, Raider Ron, he was the MVP on the show, and ultimately what we decided to end up doing, because Ron's already in the league, whoever watching today, you're going to have a chance to get in our fantasy football league. So here's what we're going to do. If you send in a $2 super chat today, you're in for a fantasy football raffle. So, Knight, I already saw that you did. We decided to discount it today because we were live late last night. Chugs and I got home probably at like 2:30 in the morning, and we got right back into it here at about 9 a.m. So, I'm not going to lie. I need y'all to be awake, and I need y'all to get this thing going with me. If you are trying to put some money in your pocket, it's a $20 Venmo. Again, at Mitchell Renz 365. Every bang that we get today, I'm going to throw down a beer bong. Somebody said, is it Miller time? I don't know if any Miller is going to be going down today, but we do have some happy dads here. And if you finish in the top 10 of XP, you're going to go on our fantasy football wheel spin. So essentially, whoever comes in first place, you get 10 tickets. If you come in second, you get 9. Third, you get 8. So on and so forth. The person that's in 10th, you'll get one wheel spin. So it'll be on a giant wheel near the end of the show. Whoever it lands on, you're going to get in our Raiders Report Fantasy Football League. No, just one today. Yes. So the fantasy football raffles for the whole month of August, I should clarify that. And the top 10 people for XP is because Ron was the MVP yesterday. He's already in the league. So if you're in the top 10 for XP today, you're going to have a shot to get in our fantasy football league. I already got down below RJ Cole, Emmanuel Sanchez. What up, Crossbully? Y'all see Geno flip off the Seahawks fan? Absolutely love it, quite frankly. And I love that Max Crosby even, put out something on social media like that's the definition of riding with your quarterback. Did y'all watch the game last night? Give me a yes, give me a no, and I would just want to see how many people were up late last night with Jeremy Chugs and I and still decided to pull back up here on a Friday day. And I mean, it's one of those things like I love doing a Raiders Friday happy hour. It's a little weird right after a game day, but I thought today was a good opportunity for us to be able to just talk about the game that happened yesterday, and that's kind of what I want us to focus on. Let's focus on the game that happened yesterday. Let's talk about it, and then I would say as soon as Monday starts next week, all of my attention is going to be on that 49ers football game. Yes, this is the photo, which I don't give a shit when anybody says that's an iconic photo. Because Geno throws up a bird. The person that had a sign, it said something along the lines of like Geno Smith and is basically the same as a bust as Jamarcus Russell. Max then runs in, throwing some birds up. I almost wanted Pete Carroll. It would have been iconic if Pete Carroll at 73 would have thrown up some birds. What up, Ray Romero? Appreciate you. Said he watched the game. Malachi Muhammad, Steven Stottgarten, Emmanuel Sanchez, Taino. Watched till midnight. Had to wake up at 6. Finished the live and the game about 30 minutes ago. Taino, cheers to you, man. Cheers to all y'all pulling up today for Raiders Friday Happy Hour. I don't know what today's going to look like, but today we're going to do our best to have some fun. What up, Knight? Not a bad play by Troy Polamalu's nephew yesterday. Yeah, I was going to say Isaiah Polamau. I had to think about it there for a second, which I can remember. The other name that my head went to is Trey Taylor, but Trey Taylor is related to Ed Reed. Yeah, Isaiah Polamau is related to Troy Polamalu, and he did have a nice interception, which is kind of what this defense is trying to do. They want to be able to force more turnovers. We all want the Raiders to be able to force more turnovers. At the same exact time, though, there was a few plays where Polamalu took bad angles, had some missed tackles, struggled a little bit in coverage, and quite frankly, I think the Raiders in general really struggled yesterday in coverage. Let's go to Preston. I don't care. I'm going to be harsh, but what good is Ashton if we can't get these gaps open for him to explode? Been saying it for years. We need to get better tackles. Armin Membu, we got crushed, and it sickens me. Yeah, I think we got to look at it from two sides, right? One, it's the first preseason game, and technically when the Raiders' starting offensive line was in the game, Jeanty had that one carry, and it went for 4 yards, right? Then the backups came in, and the backups were, they struggled. And Charles Grant, I don't think, played very well. Caleb Rogers didn't play well. Munford was yikes. You guys know how much I loved Armin Membu, and I'm a believer that if you're going to win in the NFL, you got to be able to go out there, and you got to win in the trenches. But at the exact same time, this organization is confident in DJ Glaze, and I'm happy that they were able to go out and extend Colton Miller. I do agree with you that if you're going to draft a running back at number 6 overall, and if it's somebody that you're kind of investing as much as what this team is on Jeanty, you need to be able to succeed better on the offensive line. One of my gripes right now, though, with the Raiders offensive line coach, Brennan Carroll, is, to me, good offensive lines have chemistry. And we're just moving so many guys around right now on this line. And yesterday, if you watch the full game, there were so many times where our linemen looked confused, looked lost, and, just free blockers coming in. Chugs and I were talking about a play earlier today at the Chat Sports Studios where as soon as the ball was hiked, I forget who was the running back. It was like a counter play. Chris Collier maybe. And I just remember literally hike, and all I remember is looking around, and then Caleb Rogers has got his back turned because the guy went right by Caleb, and I felt like he didn't know what his assignment was. And when you have a young team, when you have a brand new coaching staff, and a lot of moving parts together, a word that needs to be thrown out there a lot more is chemistry. And this team, especially on the line, needs some more chemistry. So I want to know down below, if you guys could, what's your biggest takeaway from the game yesterday? And if you want to give me an open-ended answer, please don't be afraid to. Chugs, you got an answer here on this one? What was your biggest takeaway from the game yesterday?
My biggest takeaway from the game yesterday is I think we need to be more worried about the Raiders' defense than the Raiders' offense. I think the Raiders' offense, the first drive, Geno had 2 drops, and then they ended up punting the ball, and then that was the end of seeing Geno Smith for that drive. He had a beautiful back shoulder catch, which Dante Thornton should have caught.
Yeah.
I thought that was a beautiful ball. He had a screen pass. Maybe it was a little low to Jacoby Myers, but obviously, that play didn't work out. And after that, Colton Miller, Geno, all those guys left. So I'm not too worried about the offense. I actually think the offense is just fine. They looked really good on that first drive. I thought they were rolling until those couple mistakes. The defense, though, going up against the Seahawks second rounders, the run defense is what worries me. I think the only bright spot was once Jamal Adams was in the game. I thought he was the best run defender out of all the Raiders defense last night.
He played well.
Run defense that first quarter, atrocious.
Yeah, they gave up 68 rushing yards the first 2 drives. And it was
some of your best guys. Max Crosby got walled in on that first drive whenever they pitched it out to the left, went for 20 yards down the field.
Yeah.
The defense, the run defense was atrocious yesterday.
Yeah, and, again, when I sit down and I look at the Raiders' defense, I do think on paper the Raiders have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, but, you're hoping that certain guys can take that next step, right? I'm hoping Tyree Wilson takes that next step. Hoping Isaiah Polamau takes that next step. And you're hoping a guy like Jeremy Chin, Landon Roberts. But, our 3 starting linebackers yesterday, they looked bad in coverage.
You said it in the first quarter, and I realized it as well. Now, he only played, I think, a quarter and a half. We really didn't get a pass rush yesterday.
Nothing.
Malcolm Kuntz did not say his name once, besides, where is he?
He was silent. And, even Max, again, they did not play a lot of snaps yesterday, but at the same time, when you're going up against second string, you expect your starters to look like starters. And they kind of got pushed around a little bit. Now, I get it. Coaching staffs aren't going to throw out everything. Maybe it's a little bit more of a vanilla defense. I understand all of those things. But at the exact same time, I think when you show up to a preseason game, you expect a team to show that, they're prepared, or minor things to some people, but missed tackling issues, not setting the edge, really bad penalties. I mean, those were all things that's kind of a lack of concentration. It's kind of reflection on coaching as well. And I get that these guys were probably really amped up for Geno Smith, really amped up for their head coach and Pete Carroll to return to Seattle. But this looked like a pretty undisciplined team. I'm not trying to overreact too much, but the Raiders' defense to me is very, very much worrisome. If it was up to me right now, I think that you got to go out and add somebody on the defensive line. I think you got to go out and add somebody to the secondary at the absolute bare minimum.
Yesterday, I think you got to go out and you have to consider two names. Two big names that I think, if you're serious about winning.
Have my two names on defense, so I can't wait to hear yours.
My two names, Justin Simmons, Jadeveon Clowney.
I swear to you on my grandfather's grave, that's what I was going to say.
The Raiders need to go out and sign those two guys to bolster this defense. Jadeveon Clowney, you can move him around. Him and Tyree Wilson can kind of swap between defensive tackle, defensive end. They can both play both of those positions.
Tonka Hemingway, Jadeveon Clowney, Tyree Wilson.
And I think
tweeners.
Justin
rotate
Simmons,
them.
Paul Lamau had a great play yesterday.
Yep.
But Trey Taylor, JT Woods, those other guys, unplayable. They're unplayable. You can't go out there and have Trey Taylor play any snaps against a first-team offense. He was getting whooped yesterday. At best, he's back into the roster and he helps on special teams and maybe comes in due to injury. But if you're going into week one and you're thinking that Trey Taylor's taking any defensive snaps, you're effed.
At this point, I don't even know if he's going to make the roster. And, I think when you lose Nate Hobbs, Robert Spillane, Ja'Cory and Bennett. Now, we got to show love to Thomas Booker. I thought he looked phenomenal yesterday. Him and Jamal Adams, to me, were the two biggest winners on the defensive side of the football. But, when you move on from the amount of pieces that the Raiders did last season, and there's a lot of names that the Raiders moved on from, you just want to be able to know, a sense of confidence that we're moving in the right direction. And yesterday, it looked like let's just be honest, it looked like a poorly coached team. It looked like a team that didn't have a lot of talent on it. And it looked like a team that didn't have a lot of depth. And I want to just, take a deep breath, calm down a little bit, because, again, it's a preseason game. It's early. I hear all those things. But also there's that Raider fan in me where you're like, oh, shit, man, are we about to do this again? Because that defense yesterday, it looked like the defenses that we were dealing with, during the Derek Carr years where, we're going to have to put up 30 points a game if we're going to win football games this season. Let's go back to Preston.
Now,
what up, dude?
I think this is a massive overreaction.
Geno, watch out. Miller looks amazing. Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. And I get it. Cam Miller played really, really well yesterday, and I'm very happy that the FCS guy from North Dakota State was able to play well. But at the same time, there is let's be clear here, 0% chance that Geno's losing that starting
That's like
job.
the same thing from the first week of training camp when beat reporters, people that
That's like you saying what? That's like y'all saying, watch out, Ashton Jeanty. Dylan Laube had a good game yesterday.
Well, no, I remember, I'm old enough to remember, Mitch, first week of training camp when people were saying, oh, dude, Aiden looks like the best quarterback on this team.
I think that's more of you're following the wrong people on social media and you're getting your information from the wrong places. But it is what it is. I don't know how these bots are still here on a Friday. Get a life, some of y'all bots. What up, Richard? Get me in that raffle, cutie pie.
Well, Casey isn't here today, but I'll do it.
It sounds good. I'll say, I don't know who you're calling cutie pie, me or Chugs, but we appreciate it. Blaine, my biggest takeaway was our poor run defense, too. We couldn't seal the edge consistently, and when we did, we missed too many tackles.
A lot of missed tackles.
Way, way, way too many missed tackles. It was frustrating, and I think it was just, I don't want to say it reminded me of some of the AP shit we dealt with last season, but it kind of reminded me of a game with some of the AP shit where you're just, I expected more. And I think that that's an okay statement to make where I don't want to sit up here and be angry, but I am, and I feel like a dad where I'm like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. And I was very disappointed in what I saw from that Raiders defense yesterday. Let's go to Richard Black. What up, Richard? We sucked bad in the trenches. Mitch said it best. As it starts in the trenches, need to get our shit together. And it's the truth. You know, you could have an Ashton Jeanty. If your offensive line doesn't block, doesn't really matter, right? And we already kind of know that from our past years with Josh Jacobs. I mean, look at the year where our offensive line played well. Jacobs went for 2,000 total yards. The next year, guys were stacking the box. Our offensive line looked like dog doo-doo. And, we didn't do anything. Last season, Raiders dead last in the NFL, 3.6 yards per carry. Dead last in the NFL in rushing yards. We need a more balanced attack. And if this offense is going to click with Chip Kelly, you got to get the play action going. If you want to use 12 personnel, got to get the play action going. And this is going to be a team that wants to run the football, but our offensive lines got to figure it out, and we got to be able to win in the trenches on defense. Ed, what's going on, brother? The starting defense was playing prevent defense. Prevent gets hurt defense. Yeah, we were playing scared, and I don't know if it's just too many guys are worried about their job, and I can understand that from time to time, but there was a lot of we look like we were in a little bit over our head situations. And with a head coach like Pete Carroll, I didn't think I was going to see it as much as I did yesterday, and that was a little bit of a frustrating thing. But I knew I was going to get this question, and I knew some people were going to be talking about it. And if you haven't already seen, it's the live poll right now. Who do y'all think's the better quarterback? Type AOC for Aiden O'Connell, or I want you to type Cam if you think it's Cam Miller. Now, I do want to say this very, very clear. I think the difference between better quarterback, and I do think there's a difference between who should be the quarterback number 2. Maybe this is an unpopular opinion. I said it late last night, and technically I guess I said it early this morning. But I said that I would keep Aiden O'Connell as the number 2 quarterback, not because any other reason besides he can still be a good backup. But if you do believe that Cam Miller can be better than Aiden O'Connell, let him develop. Because God forbid if Geno Smith goes down, I don't want to just throw him into the fire and you might ruin that development. If Geno Smith goes down, our season's probably over. And I hate saying it, but our season's probably over unless the Raiders go out and they try to get a guy like, I don't know, like a Kirk Cousins or something like that. But even that, right, I wouldn't be inspired by that. So what I would say is you just let Cam Miller develop the entire season, let him be the quarterback 3, let him compete with Aiden O'Connell, and let him think that he's behind him still. Because if you got a guy that thinks he's behind somebody, he's going to keep working. And clearly, he's putting in some good work. He's putting together some good stuff. And, again, like his touchdown throw yesterday, I don't want to hear it's against backups. I don't want to hear it's late in a preseason game. It's only a preseason game. The pump fake setup is a very high intelligent, high IQ type of play by Miller. And for somebody that was getting a lot of hype from Tom Brady, you saw it yesterday. You just saw a player that you could tell started 4 years in college football. I get it, at the FCS level. But if there is a college football program at the FCS level that is very much comparable to D1, like legit D1 football, it is North Dakota State. And Cam Miller showed that he is a leader yesterday. He had command of the offense, and I think the other very small part about the Chip Kelly offense is, and I said it 100 times last night, you don't need a mobile quarterback, but you need a quarterback that can run. And if there is one thing about AOC, he might be the least mobile quarterback in the NFL. And you saw it on display yesterday. But he did have a nice touchdown drive in the second half, was able to clean it up a little bit, but the amount of points left on the board for AOC, I can't imagine there was a bigger loser on offense, not named Aiden O'Connell, not also that played the offensive line. So I also want to be able to give some shout-outs to some of the people that really pulled up yesterday. And when I tell you all this, I mean it. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Raider Ron had the most bangs last night with 6 flipping bangs. He was the MVP. He's the reason why we're going to be giving away a chance to get in the Fantasy Football League today. So, again, if you want a chance to get in, you're going to have to be in the top 10 for our XP getters, which right now, Preston's number 1. I see, looks like Ed Robbins and Blaine Craig are right up there as well to have an opportunity to get into our Fantasy Football League today. I saw Fabian. I don't know what you sent me on Venmo, Fabian. It looks like you're just getting in the duck race. Some other people that really showed out yesterday on our live show. Jerry Danley, Cass Joey, Ryan Campbell. Here were our top 10 XP getters. And if today's show is a little bit more laid back, like a normal, like a different Raiders Friday happy hour, I'm okay with it because of how crazy last night got. And I know a bunch of us were up late last night chugging some beers as well. But at the same time, I'm always down here to have a good time, and I hope that you guys appreciate the Raiders Friday happy hour that we got going down today. If you're trying to put some money in your pocket, at Mitchell Renz 365, you can scan this QR code right here, and we can do a duck race. Right now, some of the people that are getting in the duck race, I already see Fabian Moreno, and I see Victor Lobos. Yesterday, we gave away $1,600. Let's go to the Night Devil. What's up, Nation? Mitch, Devil deal in your messages. All right, let me see. I got to read it. Interesting. Let me, unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, Fabian. I'd have to get some of this stuff approved. But, yeah, let me, I like your idea. I just have to get certain things approved when we're ordering other things. But if you want to give a devil deal of the day for chugging some beers today or what have you, I'm totally down to get that done today. So I did say this. Every time somebody bangs, we're going to be putting down a beer bong on today's program. And I'm telling you this, the only way a Raiders Friday happy hour gets going is if somebody works up enough courage to get the first bang going. And then it is usually an avalanche after that. Martin Gonzalez. I see Jawan. What's going on, man? B. Skrilla. Blaine Craig. Christopher Domingo. All here rocking with the Raiders Report crew. All rocking with the Raiders Report crew. I appreciate the jersey offer. It's just there's extra little logistics from tax and all this other stuff. So just if you want to do a giveaway, you can do a beer bong or a boot deal or something today.
I do have one more question before we get into our first segment.
Oh, okay.
Are you watching the Browns play tonight with the first NFL snaps by Shadeur Sanders?
Shadeur?
He's starting tonight. They posted, has arrived at the stadium, and it's him and I'm guessing teammates, a bunch of teammates with like a boombox and stuff, and they're all kind of like vibing on the way into the stadium. Are you watching?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is gonna be one of those games that you have to watch a little bit, and I think you have to watch it from a Raiders standpoint because of how much we talked about him.
Our Browns channel, we actually have a new guy. His first live show tonight. If y'all want to F him up, our new guy is going live on our Browns channel tonight. First live show ever.
Yeah,
if you really want to F him up.
It sounds like Shadeur is going to play 50-ish snaps tonight, I think is what they said. I mean, it's a lot of playing time. And, I think that this is going to be one of those things, again, all NFL fans. You got to just see what he looks like.
If it's a touchdown first drive, every fan base, we should have drafted him. What the hell?
The Shadeur Sanders game today is going to be the ultimate overreaction. It's either going to be he's getting cut tomorrow or he should be the Browns starting quarterback. I don't think there's going to be a middle ground.
No.
I literally don't think there's going to be a middle ground. Though, maybe he gets put in the Browns Hall of Fame.
Somebody asked, is Deion Sanders going to be there?
I
don't know.
No idea.
I mean, I think it's a decent possibility. I bet you Deion Sanders has his own private plane or knows somebody with a private plane. He could easily make that trip, go to the game real quick, and be back. I don't know with his health, but
yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the bigger question. But at the exact same time, I would be shocked if he wasn't there. I'd be shocked, like
dog meat raider. I almost read it as dog meat rider.
Deion already said he isn't going. Okay, to me, I would want to try to go to my son's first game.
Maybe it's like if he goes to Shadeur, he's got to go to Shiloh's too, and he doesn't really want to go to Shiloh's.
Could be maybe just extra pressure. I mean, I think it's probably just health. He's got a lot of health issues going on right now, but at the same time, I am surprised by that. I didn't see that he said that. Well, I'll tell you this, though. All eyes are going to be on that game. I think all eyes have to be on that game.
If you're not watching, what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm with. I'm excited for some football tonight. I know Alex was like thinking about going out and doing some stuff tonight as well, which I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to have the juice to go out tonight. Shadeur Sanders sounds like Chuck and I are going to be watching him. A little preseason action tonight at the Mitchell Renz household. All right, I'll say this. Today, we look like we're going a little bit slow for Raiders Friday Happy Hour. We still don't have any bangs, and that's okay. If we don't get any bangs, maybe we just short up the show a little bit, and it is what it is. I get it. I know how crazy yesterday went. If somebody throws up an alley-oop, we might be able to get some deals going here on today's program. So here's what I want to do. I just want to be able to go through, and I want to be able to, again, answer questions here on today's program. I want to be able to talk about the game yesterday. We'll kind of discuss some of the winners and losers. I want to go through a brand new 53-man roster projection, and then I will get into a mailbag on today's program. As soon as that's over, then we'll hop on out of here, and we'll continue rocking and rolling with our day.
We'll go watch Shadeur.
Yes, I'm telling you what, I'm excited to see Shadeur. I really, really, truly am. Gary Flores said, I'm getting married tomorrow. Bro, that's wild. That's awesome. It's going to be the greatest day of your life, I hope. I know this. I mean, to me, my wedding day was truly...
Greatest night of your life.
I mean, Alex and I didn't do anything. We got home after the wedding, and we were so tired.
Yeah, you were.
Passed out.
I bet you did.
Just not even kidding. Alex, true story. She fell asleep with a chicken tender in her hand. It wasn't mine.
I was gonna say, is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Yes. Yeah. It was all week. My buddy, who's never had Cane's, was just talking about Cane's the whole weekend. So we ended up ordering Cane's after our wedding, and I can remember we got it, and she had a chicken tender. I go into to the bathroom, take a piss. I come back out, and she's literally like asleep, chicken tender just hanging out in her hand.
Cane's is maybe this is one I'm on the hot take of this. Cane's is just okay.
I like Cane's. I think it's pretty solid. To me, if it's I don't know how I could put it. I do agree that I'm starting to think it is a little bit more overrated because I need Cane's sauce to make it good.
Yeah.
But at the exact same time,
you know it's not overrated though.
What?
Ed Robbins! Bang!
Come on, Ed. You know what, Ed? Somebody needed to get this party going. Somebody needed to get this party going. Let's freaking go, Ed Robbins. Can't wait for 2 weeks to be slamming a beer with you. Now for you to slam one. Ed, does that mean you're pulling up to Tucson, Ed?
Oh, yeah. I actually meant to show you that.
Does that mean you're pulling up to Tucson, Ed? For those of you that don't know, if anybody wants to have a beer with me, if you're over the age of 21, or if you just want to get some awesome food at Desert Shark Tucson, I'm going to be at Desert Shark Tucson. It's in Tucson, Arizona. On Friday, I'll get there at noon. We'll see how long I end up hanging out. I said the more Raider fans that show up, the longer I'm going to be there. But if you live in the Tucson area, or if you're like, dude, that's not even all that far for me, or you're like, I just want to hang out with the nation, it is the day before the Raiders' final preseason game. I'll be out there, Desert Shark Tucson. It's going to be legit. I can't wait. Ed, cheers to you, my brother.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Monsieur Robbins, I also sent you something. I meant to show it to you before.
Uh-oh. What?
I just sent you a screenshot of somebody messaged me on IG who's going to be at the event, and they wanted to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm. Can I look at it after live, or do I have to look at it now?
That's up to you. Alley-oop!
Richard! Let's get the hype before the weekend starts. Raider Nation, I'm telling you this right now. You ever have one of those days where you wake up in the morning and you're like happy out? When I woke up this morning, I was tired. I even messaged Chugs. I was like, dude, I'm hurting a little bit.
Last night he goes, I'll be in by 9. And then 8:45 he goes, I'm going to be in by 9:30.
I'm going to be in a little bit later. We're going to be in a little bit later. And, I think it's one of those things where, like, last night we kind of got after it. And today I felt a little bit tired, a little bit sluggish. I'll be very transparent with you guys. And I'm sure I'm not the only Raider fan that feels that way. And, when you pull up here to a Raiders Friday happy hour show, you want to get that juice going. It's the best way that I can put it. So for people like Ed Robbins, for people like Richard right now, you guys are giving me that extra juice. So Richard's going to throw one up here. I don't know who's going to slam it down, but I am confident. Oh, boy. Sorry. That somebody will end up slamming it down. I don't know who. Alley-oops, I'll count them today.
If I had to guess, it'd be this guy.
Blaine Craig!
Bang!
I'll throw it down like Peyton to Kemp in their prime.
Do you know who that is?
Kemp, the name that's coming to my mind, did he play for the Seattle Supersonics?
Yeah!
Okay, I had an action figure of him. My dad used to get me, like, they were like this little big. They were like figurines. It was what, Gary Payton to... I have no idea who Kemp. I can picture him. Sean Kemp.
Yeah!
Wow,
Sean Kemp!
Dude, that's crazy. I don't know how that just came to my mind.
Dude, good.
That's insane, dude.
Good pull. Good pull. Great pull. Sal. New pick from Sal. A little couple thirst trap pick? Okay, Sal. Heading to work. Man, just want to say I see something special in Cam Miller. Crosby was hyped last night for his performance. Hell yeah. Sal in the gym just working on his fitness.
I was just going to say, Sal's like, you know what? It's about time Sal, I'll say this. I hope you know this person in your picture. It'd be wild. You just go up to some random person in the gym. You're like, hey, can we get a pic? I need to update my YouTube profile picture. Sal, just when I finally learned it was you. I mean, we have to admit, Cam Miller played well last night. Here's going to be my question to everyone watching the show right now. And I mean this. How would you grade Cam Miller's performance yesterday? And I think I know what answers I'm going to get, but I think it's when you see something for the first time and you go, oh, wow, that's really special. I want to pump the brakes a little bit only because in the NFL, it's a big film league. And when you get more and more tape on a guy, more and more film on a dude, you can see what he does well and you can plan for it. And I want to see Cam Miller look that way week 2 against the 49ers. I want to see him look that way week 3 against the Arizona Cardinals. But I think the number one thing I'm going to be looking for next week, is going to be how do the Raiders split up the snaps? Because it was a lot of Aiden O'Connell yesterday. And I think they wanted to see what they have in Aiden. They want him to get his confidence going. And the poor play kind of forced him to stay in the game a little bit longer. But I want to see if the snaps get a little bit more even and if this does truly turn into a legit quarterback 2 battle. But I'm seeing a lot of B pluses. I see some B minuses from Cam Miller. I'll tell you this. I'm actually surprised that there's not more higher grades down there. I thought he played really, really well. I was impressed by what I saw out of Miller, but at the same time, going up against some backups. We still had our backups in the game, but he did a lot of good stuff yesterday. You got to give him credit. He did a lot of good stuff yesterday. Let's go to Ruben. What up, Rube? Not in panic mode, but the win kind of left my sails. On that note, I'm glad to be back with the nation for another season. See you in Tucson. Hell yeah, Ruben. I'll see you guys there. I mean, we can look at it 2 ways, right? Like, we could look at it as the Raiders ended up losing this preseason game. Maybe it's a wake-up call. Sometimes as a team, you need a wake-up call. Sometimes you need that win to be taken out of your sails, and I'd rather win be taken out of our sails now. But at the exact same time, do you all remember when the Raiders went 4-0 in the preseason with Josh McDaniels, and we were riding into that season on our high horse and quickly got a little slice of humble pie? And I think that yesterday was a little bit of a slice of humble pie for us, but I'd rather eat that humble pie now instead of the regular season. Ruben, I'll see you in Tucson, my man. It's going to be a good time. Seriously, I can't wait to be able to hang out with the nation. What up, Mo? Appreciate your breakdown after the game. because I was at Seattle, and it's hard to break down when you're drunk. Good times, though. It was really cool to see the amount of people that sent me photos or, tagged me on IG, sent me stuff on Twitter when they're at the game, and I appreciate that people think of me when they're at these events and stuff like that. It does. It does really, really, truly mean a lot to me. But I can imagine a game that's that late. We did a 2-hour freaking tailgate yesterday. We were live for almost 6 hours, so I'm glad that people enjoy our content, and I'm glad people aren't afraid to have a good time, because that's what I'm all about here. And I never want to take life too serious. I can be very serious, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I think you got to be able to sit back, enjoy what you're doing, enjoy being able to talk about the Raiders, and that's what Friday Happy Hour is all about. Mo, cheers to you, dog. Let's go to Sal again. My lady for 6 years. Give Cam a B. The word I give, comfortable and confident under center. I agree with that statement. Cam Millard, to me, looked like a quarterback that started 4 years of college football. And I don't think that we realize how important that is. I also don't think that we realize how important that is to a guy like Tom Brady, where, I feel like I've brought this up a bunch of the times on this show, and some of you probably are going to know what I'm about to say, but Brady used to say all the time, like, he wants players to learn a system. He wants players to learn how to become part of a program, and he wants players to learn how to become, like winners, right? And to be great leaders. Cam Miller has done all of that. He's the team captain. He just won a national championship. He's been that, team basically captain quarterback for 4 years at North Dakota State. And North Dakota State is a very legit program. Like, when I went out to Fargo, North Dakota for my cousin's wedding, literally I remember telling people, it's like, that's Fansville. Like, when you see the Dr. Pepper's commercials and it's Fansville, that's North Dakota State, because that's all that's in that place. The only that's in Fargo, North Dakota, is North Dakota State, and everybody is crazy about that football program there, but he looked comfortable. He looked confident. He looked like he has seen it before. And when you have a lot of playing experience, you don't realize how important it is just when you have all those extra looks. Like Cam Miller's played probably more football in the last 5 years, compared to a guy like Trey Lance, who also came from North Dakota State. I bet you people look at Trey Lance and goes, that guy's more talented than Cam Miller. I probably don't disagree with that statement. But Cam Miller looks like he's sat back, learned the game, polished his tools, and just looks like he's a lot more confident and comfortable than somebody like Trey Lance, who looks like he's just kind of relied on his athletic ability his whole career. Let's go to Juicy. Juice Box. Did y'all see Geno flipping off that Jamarcus sign? Yeah, somebody earlier on the show also brought it up, and, that's my quarterback. I think it's kind of funny. When the Raiders first went out and traded for Geno Smith, when the Raiders first extended Geno, there was a lot of guys that, when I say a lot of guys, a lot of people amongst the nation that, and I get it, there's a loyal fan base for certain people, and I think that sometimes people are too afraid to admit that they were wrong. And what do I mean by that? A lot of people were like, oh, Adam O'Connell's going to beat out Geno Smith. And the people that were saying that didn't love the move of going out and getting Geno and giving him that extension. But isn't Geno Smith like the most Raider quarterback we've had probably since Rich Flippin' Gannon? Like, I love DC, and I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for Derek Carr. In fact, can you go to the beer pong table over there real quick to get the Derek Carr sign? Like, when I first started doing this show, we talked about DC. He was the logo, and that's a guy that I'll always have a lot of respect for, believe it or not. But also at the exact same time, so you see in the bottom left hand, that's Derek Carr over there. And DC will always have a very, very special place in my heart because of how much we talked about him. But Derek, to me, doesn't have that killer mentality. Geno Smith kind of has that killer mentality in him, and he's got that, don't F with me mentality. And I think Geno Smith is the definition of what a Raiders quarterback should look like, should act. And I'll tell you this right now, if I was running out onto the field, and for the most part, Geno was very well loved in Seattle. He was celebrated yesterday. He went out to a great applause. But if somebody had a sign that said that about me, that just tells me Geno cares. And Geno has that fiery mentality. And for a fact that game meant something to him. And the fact that Max followed it up, absolutely love it, man. What up, Sergeant 555? Godspeed, Mitch of the Nation. I hope to see you in Tucson on the 22nd for Chuggy Heads, baby. I'll be there. It's not up to me, Sergeant. It's up to you. So if you want to pull up, I will hang out with you, and I'm going to see you. Mitch, shut up. You said this. You said that about Minshew too. I said Minshew represented the mentality of what a Raiders quarterback is. I don't think anybody ever thought that I thought Minshew was a good quarterback, though. And I think that there's a very big distinction in that of Gardner was fun. But Gardner was fun because our only other option was Aiden O'Connell. Geno Smith, I think the way he carries himself and he can back it up with his play, I hear you loud and clear. But at the same time, as a Raiders fan in the offseason, if you can't have fun in the offseason, it's going to be a long season. And I always try to have a good time. And, last year we were going with what we were dealt, and we were kind of just trying to get a lot of confidence going with this team because our quarterback situation was Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. What up, Darian? JPJ playing right guard. Do you think it's more of an indictment that Meredith is a better center than Kappa is a right guard? I think JPJ needs to play center regardless, but that's just me. I couldn't agree with you more. And I'll continuously say having an all-pro center is more important than having an all-pro guard. And I think JPJ can play those positions, but at the exact same time, I don't understand if we have the team that we do, why we don't want a center that bullies people the way JPJ does compared to Meredith. And I think Meredith, if you want to have Meredith, put him at guard. I think he's a better guard than a guy like Alex Kappa. Sometimes teams get in their own mind. I think teams come up with this, their own plan for certain things. And maybe Jordan Meredith is a better center than he is a guard. But I don't think that trumps the idea of putting JPJ at right guard. And I'm trying to trust what I see. And I'm trying to trust in this regime. But I think every single Raiders fan, after watching that game yesterday, there's a little bit, I don't want to say less trust because that's not fair. It's only one preseason game. But, what we saw yesterday was an offensive line that looks very bad right now. I don't care what anybody says. If you came away watching that game and you were like, I have confidence in the offensive line, I don't have confidence in you to be able to watch a football game and analyze it in the correct way. And, there was a lot of things that happened yesterday where you were like, man, that looked like last year, and it was concerning. And I know I'm not the only Raiders fan that felt that way. And clearly, you're kind of in that same boat. But I think the Raiders like Jordan Meredith. I think they're trying to get him on the field, and they're trying to put the best five guys out there. But I can't see why we can't put JPJ at center. And it's a little bit of a frustrating thing for me right now. Let's go to Gilbert Moreno, and JPJ wants to play center. I'm going to go car shopping tomorrow.
Don't get the one that says Derek.
I have an Audi. I shouldn't even say I have an Audi. My wife has an Audi. She drives the car. I actually don't have a car. It's only hers. But my first car, I'll give anybody right now, I will throw down a beer bong, okay? Here's my deal right now. If anybody, this is going to be wild. If anybody sends in a $20 super chat with the car that I first drove when I first started this show, I even showed a picture of it one time on here. Somebody throws in a $20 super chat with that car, I will do a beer bong. If somebody sends in a $100 super chat, a bang, with the car that I used to drive when I first started this show, I'll do a boot. Jugs is like, are you sure? I'll do a boot.
69 on
Here's
black.
how we prove where our real ones are at.
Came out green, Baccarat next time. I don't know how to play that game. I see people playing it.
What game?
Baccarat, and then I also see people playing craps. I don't know how to play craps.
I don't even know how to play shits. Let's go to Night Devil. Devil deal of the day. 200 likes equals a bang. 30 shares, 20 subscribers equals devilish giveaway at the event you won't want to miss out on. Must follow both Mitch and Desert Shark for details. This way, if you can't make it, it could still party with us. All right, so it sounds like the devil deal of the day is once we get to 200 likes, we're going to get a bang from my guy Fabian Moreno, who, Fabian, I love the message you sent me last night. For those that don't know, Fabian won the duck race yesterday. $1,600. Congratulations to you. But apparently, your son in the picture here, he was holding his son while the duck race happened. And he was like, I was literally like mentally screaming and trying to like celebrate while also holding his son and trying not to wake him up. But like, imagine, you're being a dad, tip of the cap to being a dad, while also trying to be a Raider fan, watch the game last night. I don't even know what time. Again, you're in Tucson, so let's say 11, 12 o'clock at night. You're rocking your baby to sleep. You're watching the freaking duck race. You're like, oh, my God, I just won $1,600. I'm waking that baby up. I'm telling you right now. I might even sign that baby. No, I'm just kidding. Fabian Moreno, shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you, brother. I'll tell you this right now. If somebody gets this car right, I'm going to be mind blown.
I did see somebody ask about the duck race. We are running a duck race today, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365.
Which, let me look right now. I do see, I got a few extra people that decided to get in. I see Soulja Man, you in. Sergio Perez, I got you in. And then Timmy Jones is in. So right now it's a $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. You would go home with $50 here on today's program. Let's get this thing going a little bit more. How about this? This is always a fun deal to do. If you send in a $40 Venmo to get in the duck race, I'll give you an extra duck for free. That's going to get the duck race to get up there a little bit higher. We're going to stack the chips here a little bit, and we're going to try to give away some legit money today. So here's what I want to do. I do want to get into our very first segment on today's program, which actually is going to be, is it the 53-man roster?
Yeah.
Okay, 53-man roster projection. And then after that, I'll kind of just quickly go through some of my winners and losers on offense. And then we'll get into a mailbag, kind of break down some of the winners and losers a little bit on the defensive side of the football. And then we will give away a fantasy football raffle spot. And then I will also give away some money at the very end of today's show. Keep Cushion Raider, what's going on, man? I see a super chat coming in from you. We'll get into that one. Or do you want to get that after? We can get it after.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Keep Cushion Raider 808. Appreciate you. We will get that super chat up on screen after this segment here of my brand new Raiders 53-man roster projection. And this was tough. This was tough. I've done a lot of 53-mans. I wanted to be able to do it after that first preseason game just because of all the overreactions that come out of it. But at the same time, you try to analyze, you try to see, what the team did. I'm probably going to be making some people upset from this 53-man. So buckle up, Buttercup. Coming up, let's talk about who I think is going to make this team's roster. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, a Raiders 53-man roster projection after the Silver and Black's first preseason game up against the Seattle Seahawks. I'll be 100% transparent. I thought about doing a show around some guys on the hot seat, but I was like, yeah, you know what? I want to look at this as a positive, and let's talk about the players that are going to make the roster instead of guys that might not end up making the team. But at the end of the day, anytime the Raiders have a game, have joint practice, training camp, I like to do these 53-mans. That way it lets the nation know what I'm thinking of who Pete Carroll and John Spytek could end up keeping on this roster. I'm also a man that loves a deal. So let's make a deal. Not only do we give away a jersey on our Raiders-Seahawks game, I want to be able to give away a Raiders jersey during our 49ers game. I'm looking right now. We're about 950 subs away from 198,000. If we get to 198,000 subs by the time the Raiders and the 49ers end up playing, I'm going to give away another jersey during that preseason game. We had over 100,000 Raider fans show up yesterday. I know y'all can do it. Pull up, hit that sub button, and who knows? Maybe you'll win the jersey. So the way that I'm going to go through this Raiders 53-man is I'm going to show you the depth chart for each position, and then the number that you will see next to the player's name is me literally counting it out, the 53 players on the roster. So Geno Smith, Aiden O'Connell, and Cam Miller are the three quarterbacks that are on the silver and black, and it's probably not going to surprise anybody that these are going to be the 3 quarterbacks that I end up keeping. Now, Aiden O'Connell, Cam Miller, that to me looks like a real battle. I would still keep AOC at quarterback too, just because I want Miller to develop a little bit more. But at the end of the day, could the Raiders keep 2 QBs? And that's a whole nother can of worms. That might be a whole nother conversation. But if Aiden keeps playing the way that he did, and if Cam keeps playing the way that he did, it might be a conversation that I might entertain a little bit more. Let's go to the running back position here. And the Raiders, they listed Raheem Mostert, Zamir White, Chris Collier as the RB2. I kind of just put it from a graphic standpoint as Zamir up there at RB3. But Sincere McCormick, Dylan Laube, these guys were kind of buried a little bit on that depth chart as well. We know that Jeanty is going to end up being that main back. And I've done this show already so many different times this offseason. And the running backs that I've kept hasn't been easy. But you know what? We got to be able to make a decision because Pete's going to have to make a decision. John Spytek's going to have to make a decision. So let's help him out a little bit. If you could keep only one running back from these 3 names right here, type CC for Chris Collier, type DL for Dylan Laube, type SM for Sincere McCormick, who are you keeping? My answer after this YouTube ad break. This was really, really difficult for me, and I don't know exactly where the Raiders are leaning on who they're going to keep at the running back position. I think it's going to be Jeanty. I think it's going to be Raheem Mostert. I think they're also going to keep Zamir White, and I say that because of the amount of snaps that he played yesterday, and this might surprise some people, but I'm going to go with Chris Collier over Sincere McCormick, and I'm going to go with Chris Collier over Dylan Laube. I'm not saying that because Collier had 9 carries, 42 yards. He led the team yesterday. Dylan Laube, I thought, actually out of all the running backs in that first preseason game, between McCormick, Collier, and Laube, I thought that Laube honestly played the best. But special teams value, Collier has it. Laube also provides you some of that. I think there's just also the depth chart where they listed him. The fact that they listed Collier above Dylan, and because Collier is somebody that is fighting for always, that roster spot, obviously Dylan is as well. I just think that there is more upside to Collier because he's just a little bit wigglier. That's a weird word to put out there, but he's just got a little bit more juice than Dylan, and Dylan has some of those fumble issues. Though both players played very well, this is kind of like the Tyreek McAllister. We'll end up seeing what ends up happening here from that running back spot. Let's go now to the wide receiver room here, and Jacoby, Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton, Jack Besh. These are the guys that are absolutely positively locks to make it, but does a Philip Dorsett make the team? Does a Colin Johnson make the team? Because if you watch that Raiders preseason game, Philip Dorsett, Colin Johnson, Justin Shorter, quite frankly, there was a lot of names that were listed above Tommy Mellott, who was drafted in the 6th round. And typically, I've been keeping 5 wide receivers. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep 6 here. And some of you might look, I am going to keep Alex Bachman. He, to me, is almost a lock to make this roster. The Raiders love what he offers from a slot perspective, and he was targeted very heavily yesterday, got a lot of snaps. Even though I'm going to keep Tommy Mellott, this is more of a what I would do, and the reason why I'm saying it is if the Raiders drafted Mellott where they did, and obviously they saw something special in him, but they knew it was going to be a project. Like, I can't imagine the Raiders drafted Tommy Mellott thinking that he was going to be a player that never played wide receiver in college is now going to be able to be a wide receiver in the NFL. Like, to me, it's a developmental piece. It's a project player. And I'm hoping that even though, I'll be real, I think if you ask the Raiders right now, is he in the top 53 players on their team? They would tell you no. I actually don't even think he's probably in the top 60. He might not even be in the top 70 if I'm being 100% transparent with you. And he did not look good in that preseason game. He was one of my biggest losers. But I do think that the Raiders know that they have a project player, and they want to be able to take their time. They want to be able to develop him. So for that reason, I did end up keeping him on this roster, but I don't anticipate seeing Tommy Mellott at all this upcoming season. Let's go to the tight end room here now where Brock, Michael Mayer, these players are locks to make it. The Silver and Black did recently add Albert O on that team, and I think between Ian Thomas and Albert O, there's going to be a lot of competing going on. Quadir Ishmael, Carter Runyon, both got some runs, both got some receptions yesterday. This was a little bit difficult, but to me, I have been very confident in Ian Thomas, and because I've seen him have a solid training camp, he's had solid Raiders mock game. He had a solid preseason game. I do think that the Raiders want to go with 3 tight ends. Now, If you told me they didn't keep Tommy Mellott, I think Albert O, or even somebody along the lines of a Justin Shorter, Quadir Ishmael, somebody that can play a little bit of a wide receiver tight end hybrid role, could be something to keep in mind. Let's go to the offensive line. Now, typically, I have been keeping 9 offensive linemen in my 53-man roster breakdowns. And yesterday, Colton Miller, Dylan Parham played the least amount of snaps on the offensive line. I think it's maybe those are the 2 players that they're the most confident in. After watching the film, after watching the tape, I thought that this Raiders offensive line was going to be a lot better than what they showed yesterday. I am very concerned, but I also wanted to be able to get more players on defense because my concern is heavier on defense than it is offense. So I'm going to only keep 8 offensive linemen. I'm going to keep the 2 rookies that you drafted in the 3rd round, Charles Grant, Caleb Rogers. Let's be honest, both those guys did not play well against Seattle. Alex Kappa had a very limited amount of snaps also, so, he's been battling some stuff. I'm only going to keep 8 offensive linemen, and I have been flirting with the idea of keeping Thayer Munford in some of the past videos that I did, but at the exact same time, I just can't keep Thayer Munford on this roster based on the way that he played yesterday, based on the way he played last season, based on we just need more help on the defensive side of the football. So because of that, I'm going to go with 8 offensive linemen, but I don't love it. And the Raiders, if there's one thing I learned from doing this 53-man video, we need to add several more players from free agency because we don't have enough talent to compete at the level that I was hoping we can compete at. Coming up next here, the Raiders 53-man is going to continue, but this time on the defensive side of the football. Before I get into that, I can't believe these jerseys are still on sale. I wake up every morning and I look, are these jerseys still on sale? And the fact that the answer is yes, it's mind-blowing. Now, I'll be transparent. I am recording this video on Friday, August 8th, and it's going to go out on Saturday for all y'all that are watching. But at the exact same time, I've been doing this show for 7+ years. I can't remember a time that it's been this many Raiders jerseys at the quality of Raiders jerseys, and it's just at the deal that they have right now at chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys. It's mind-blowing to me. And I think another great deal that I don't have a picture of, there's custom jerseys where, you guys always see me rocking these different custom jerseys that I had. I used to do it a lot last season. But if you've ever sat back and you go, man, I would love to get a custom Raiders jersey, they're usually $169. You can get it right now for $135. And maybe that doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but in the custom jersey game, that's a Nike branded jersey, that's a great, great deal. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys. That link's down in the comments. It's in the description of today's show. And you know what? Let's ask this question. If you could get any Raiders jersey, who would it be? And I'm asking this question because if you don't remember, at the very beginning of the show, I gave you a challenge. I gave you a deal. Well, I'm a man that likes to listen to the nation. This is how this show runs. It listens to what you guys have to say. Whatever person gets the most votes, that's the jersey I'm going to give away. Now, I did think about giving away a 98 Crosby for $198K, though I think that's probably the most common Raiders jersey that's out there right now. Whoever gets the most votes down in the comments, that's the jersey I'm going to end up giving away when the Raiders play the 49ers. But we got to get to 198K subs. All right, let's go to the defensive side of the football here. And yes, I am putting Tonka Hemingway as a defensive end, and I'm putting him as a defensive end only because that's where the Raiders listed them in their first unofficial depth chart. Now, again, if you're counting at home with me, I have only 24 players on offense. So I'm going to be able to keep some extra players on the defensive side of the football. Let's first go to these edge rushers, defensive ends. Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, Tyree Wilson. Charles Snowden, I did not like the way that he played. If I'm being transparent in that Seattle game, I actually thought Andre Carter played well, though PFF might disagree with me on that one. Tonka Hemingway, you drafted him, so you're going to end up keeping him as well. But 5 defensive ends is who's going to make this roster. Now, let's go to the defensive tackle room. And since moving on from Christian Wilkins, this is just a unit that is just not nearly as strong as what it once was. Lucky Fotu's in a boot. Don't know 100% how healthy he is. And this is another part of this Raiders team that I was hoping was going to be a strength. And the Raiders went from having, I thought, one of the better defensive tackle units in the league with Wilkins to now, quite frankly, I think having one of the worst defensive tackle units in the National Football League. And this is an area that the Silver and Black drastically need to improve on. The problem is I don't know exactly where that improvement is going to come from. I'm going to keep Adam Butler. I think Thomas Booker is the second best DT on our roster from what I saw yesterday. Nobody created the interior pressure that he did, and quite frankly, I understand sometimes when people go, oh, Mitch, you can't always talk about PFF grades. You're right, because whoever did the PFF grades for the Raiders, judging what Thomas Booker did yesterday, don't know ball. So I don't know who did it at PFF. The grade that they gave Thomas Booker doesn't make any sense, because if you watch the game, he was making an impact. Like Fotu, if he's not healthy, that could be another name that we have to replace. But J.J. Pegues, you drafted him in the 6th round. Zach Carter, I thought, played pretty well overall. But 10 guys on the defensive line isn't enough for the talent that we have on this roster. Because, again, we're talking about very, very limited defensive tackle depth here. I am also now realizing I am a complete and utter idiot. I did not put Jonnu Lalu on that list. Jonnu Lalu has to be on that list. So, could you take out the Kai Blue Kelly from the cornerback room? That's me. I was trying to put this one together. I'm literally looking at it. I'm like, who am I missing here? And I'm staring at it. I'm staring at it. I'm staring at it. Jonnu Lalu is also on this list. That's on me. I should have been able to catch that, and you can blame it on whoever. But that's on me. Jonnu Lalu, he ends up making this list. So let's say Adam Butler's 30, Thomas Booker's 31, Lecky Fotu's 32, J.J. Pegues is 33, Zach Carter 34, 35 is going to be Jonnu Lalu. Cool? He's going to end up making the roster. That's on me, and I feel like a knucklehead. But let's be honest with ourselves here. If you feel like that the Raiders need to add some extra talent onto that defensive line, because we got pushed around a little bit by Seattle, and that was really, really frustrating for me. Jonnu struggled yesterday. He really did. I expected to see more out of him, and I think every single person that rocks with the silver and black can agree with this. We need to add more talent to this defensive line. Pete, I'm looking at you. Spytek, I'm looking at you. We need more talent on this Raiders defensive line, and I think we can all agree with it. And if you do, I hope you hit that like button. Let's go to the linebacker room now here for the silver and black. And Jermaine Pratt, Landon Roberts, Devin White, Jamal Adams to me is a lock to make this squad. And the Raiders really did move around a lot of different pieces from top to bottom yesterday, and it was kind of a weird unit overall. But to me, I'm going to keep 6 linebackers, and the 6 linebackers that I'm going to end up keeping here for the silver and black, I'm going to go with Landon Roberts, Devin White, Jermaine Pratt. Those are your top 3 guys, though. After what I saw yesterday, I'm really curious to see if Jamal Adams squeaks into that top 3 linebacker rotation, because he was better than Roberts. He was better than White. He was better than Pratt. Quite frankly, I didn't think Roberts played well at all. I don't think Devin White looked good, and I didn't think Jermaine Pratt looked good, if we're being transparent. Tommy Eichenberg, I am going to keep on this team. And then the Raiders did draft Lindenberg in the 7th round, but I kept Cody Lindenberg on this 53-man because I think it's what the Raiders are going to do, because Amari Gaynor didn't get a lot of snaps. But if you watched that game yesterday, you're probably going, well, our linebackers were terrible in coverage. But also at the same time, I'm not surprised that our linebackers were terrible in coverage, because we don't have a single linebacker on our team that's not named, I would say, Jermaine Pratt or honestly Amari Gaynor, that I have any confidence in whatsoever. Now, could Adams continue to get more playing time? Could he continue to be somebody that we rely on? I hope so, and I hope that he proves me wrong. I hope Jamal Adams proves me wrong just the same way that Robert Spillane did a few years ago. But this linebacker room is a huge toss-up, and we got a lot of moving pieces around. Let's go to the cornerback room next up here on the Raiders report. And Eric Stokes, Darian Porter, DeCamerion Richardson, these are your top guys. Now, depending on what the Raiders decide to do at the cornerback position, I mean, it is an absolute toss-up. And I didn't know exactly how this defensive backfield is going to end up breaking down. So what I decided to do here is this. I'm going to add the 3 outside corners that the Raiders are the most confident in. Eric Stokes, Darian Porter, DeCamerion Richardson. Those are the 3 outside corners that they're the most confident in. Then in the nickel, do they keep Darnay Holmes? I don't know. I thought Kai Blue Kelly played pretty solid yesterday, and he was somebody that I was really flirting with the idea of putting him in. I mean, I literally was just telling Chugs, take him out, because he's probably number 54 now. I think the Raiders will keep John Olalu over Kai Blue. But Greedy Vance is a player that this team does like a lot. and he's somebody that goes out there, he competes as you-know-what off. He's not afraid to go out there and be physical. He's not afraid to go out there and be, a tackler, even though he's a little bit of a smaller size. And because the Raiders are using free safeties, strong safeties also in the nickel, I wonder if they're like, you know what? We're going to keep our outside corners, and we're going to keep a few guys in the nickel that we can just rotate. And Darnay Holmes is a coin flip. Greedy Vance is a coin flip. The secondary in general for the Raiders, it's a big old coin flip. Let's now go to the safety room here. And Paul Lamau had an interception. Jeremy Chin was being used in a multitude of different ways. And you're looking right now up on screen. What I'm going to give you guys, and just bear with me, I'm going to end up keeping 4 safeties. And the safeties that I'm going to end up keeping are Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Paul Lamau, Thomas Harper, and I'm going to end up keeping Chris Smith. Now, the one name that you're probably going, well, wait a minute, Lonnie Johnson Jr., what happened to him? Pete Carroll did say the other day at a press conference that Johnson is expected to be back in week 4 or 5. I think that's also Pete Carroll kind of giving you a little bit of a wink, nudge, hint, that we're going to be placing him on IR. Now, if a player is placed on IR, they do not count against the 53-man roster, but they're out the first 4 weeks. If that player is still out after the first 4 weeks and he's unable to play week 5 when the Raiders play the Indianapolis Colts, I want to say, then he's done for the season. But if I'm the Raiders, I put Lonnie Johnson Jr. on IR. He's out the first 4 weeks. Then you activate him, and then he's back there week 5. Get him back healthy, get him back going again. But because he's going to be somebody I think they put on IR, they're going to keep those 4 safeties. Chris Smith has been filling in for him, and he played more snaps than anybody on defense yesterday. And then to round this bad boy out, Daniel Carlson, A.J. Cole, and Jacob Bobenmoyer. I apologize again for not putting John Ulalu on the show. I hate the fact that I did that. I'm honestly really kicking myself in the you-know-what. Chugs and I, we spend a lot of time on this, and the fact that I missed that, man, I'm really kicking myself in the ass. So if you want to put John Ulalu down in the comments, because that's the guy that I missed. Quite frankly, he's the one that y'all should probably put down there. But I think what I learned from the Raiders yesterday, and it's going to be a video that I end up putting out on the show, and it's going to be end up putting out on the show probably, I don't know, next week sometime. It's going to be the top free agents that the Raiders needed to go out and get, because when I was doing this 53-man, I almost thought of like leaving a spot open at defensive tackle, leaving a spot open in the secondary, leaving a spot open on the offensive line, because I think the Raiders need to add another offensive lineman. I think the Raiders need to add another player on the defensive line, and I think the Raiders need to add another player in the secondary, and that's the bare minimum based off of what I saw up against the Seattle Seahawks. Jadeveon Clowney, Justin Simmons would make this defense a lot better. I also want to give a shout out here before I get out of here to our Noti gang, and these are people that always show up down in the comments, always take pride in trying to be one of the very first people in our show. So Raider Jaime, to Seth, to Giovanni, Malachi, and Eddie, I see you. I appreciate you. And if you want to get a future shout out on the show, make sure you're subscribed and make sure you turn on those noties. What up, Keep Cushion Raider 808? Hey, what's up, guys? Who stood out the most from each side of the ball? I think it'd be Shedrick Jackson and Jamal Adams. Well, on the offensive side of the football, I did have Jackson as one of my winners, and I think this is a good opportunity to kind of, transition to some of our biggest winners on the offensive side of the football from yesterday's game. And it's a video that I did put out earlier. If you want a little bit more of an in-depth look, I can give you a little bit more of an in-depth look, but again, it's already out on the channel. I did have Jackson, though, ranked in my top 5, and I also had Jamal Adams in my top 5 because I thought both those players played really well. And Jackson went 4 for 76 and a touchdown. Jamal Adams was flying all over the football field. Highest PFF grade was Jamal Adams. Let's go to, didn't we have a super chat earlier that we didn't get? Or maybe it's just off the screen now. Sergio Paz, or Paez, not Perez. Paez. All right, Sergio, I will do my best, man. And I don't do it on purpose. I don't like to admit that I'm super dyslexic, but sometimes I can't read very well. It's embarrassing, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah, I will do my best, though. Paez. Ed, 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Wrong. I'll give you a hint. Two-door. No, do Jeeps probably have two doors. Do they? Two-door, it's a car. And I don't even think the car's made anymore. When I say I don't know, I know it's not made anymore. I know for a fact that the car I first drove is not made anymore.
9 likes away from 200.
9 likes away from the devil deal of the day. And the devil deal of the day from Fabian Moreno is once we get to 200 likes, it's basically a beer bong for me because my guy's going to be banging. Also, I see Rob Fravor in the duck race. Richard Black, I got you. And then, speaking of the Night Devil, he took advantage of the deal. He's going to get an extra duck for free. I also see Terry.
Back it up, Terry.
Terry Harrington taking advantage of the deal. Right now, it's $20 Venmo. You would get in for a chance to win $130 here on today's show. Also, I got to give a huge shout out to some of our MVPs on tonight's show. I see Ed Robbins, Blaine Craig, and Richard. Reminder, if you are in the top 10 for our XP today, you're going to have a chance to get in our fantasy football league. Going to have a shot to get in. It's going to be interesting to see how many people get in, which right now, can you show the top 10 top fans for me? Right now I see Sergeant Fighter is the cutoff. Sergeant Fighter is the cutoff for what I'm looking at right now. The top fans, though, you never know what's going to happen. You never know, man. Reminder, we are going to do a mailbag on today's show, hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat to skip the line. I'm looking right now, and it looks like we got Ed Robbins. The Night Devil must have just shot up. Oh, all right. Like, where did that come from? Richard, Preston, Sal's got a chance, Darian, Mo, and then the cutoff is Sergeant. If you are in our top 10 for XP today, if you're like, Mitch, how do I get in the top 10? Super chat, comment down below. You're going to have an opportunity to get into our fantasy football raffle. But there are legends in this show, and one of the legends that I want y'all to know, the Night Devil! Bang! Come on, dude. I'm going to hear that horn when I'm dead.
Almost there, but I know we show up at the end of the day. With that being said, Nation, wake up and let me know you're watching and throw those area codes in the chat.
Hey, let's get some area codes in the chat. I don't know if anybody's near Tucson, but if anybody wants to hang out with Night Devil and I, August 22nd, Desert Shark, Tucson. Night Devil, cheers to you, brother.
The Night Devil. Devil of the Night. Rebel Montana, whenever I bet, determines the Raiders' fate. Whatever I bet determines the Raiders' fate. If that's the case,
whenever I bet,
I'm nervous.
Determines the Raiders' fate. I don't know what that means.
I think he's saying, like, if he does well, like if he's winning, the Raiders are going to win. If he loses while he's betting, the Raiders are going to lose.
All right, Reb. Well, we need some good luck. We need some good vibes, Reb. We need some good vibes, man.
Speaking of good vibes.
Speaking of good vibes, my computer right now, do we have connection? I hope so.
Yeah, we do, because this one's coming in from Bayou Raider.
Bang! Bayou! Yikes, man. The Bayou.
He said he's repping the 318. You know where that is?
I think Bayou has said multiple times that he's going to be able to make it to Desert Shark. So I'm guessing it's somewhere in there.
No.
Is he from Louisiana then?
Yeah.
All right.
The Bayou.
Didn't you say you were coming to Tucson? I thought I saw him say it. Now, again, maybe he's making a trip in that. Is that a crotch rocket? What is that thing called?
Maybe. I can't see the motorcycle per se.
It's a bike.
Bike.
Bayou.
What's up, Chat Sports fam? What up, Bayou? And just a reminder to everybody who's watching right now, if you could, go support one of our new guys today with this Browns watch party. Newest member of Chat Sports, Joey O.D. We call him the Jode. He will be going live for the Browns.
It's the Jode Show.
It's the Jode Show. Big Jode. He'll be going live tonight for the Browns game. Preseason watch party. Shadeur Sanders, first NFL snaps. Is he the real deal, or is he as shitty as we all think he is?
There's only time will tell.
We know the Jode is going to be rooting for him hard.
I'll tell you this right now.
Type me if you're down to hang out with our Browns guy tonight for his first watch party. Ingratiate him with the Chat Sports crew. Let him know the nation represents. Let me know. Type me if you're down to hang out with our new Browns guy during his first Chat Sports watch party. We always remember our first. He's getting his Chat Sports cherry popped tonight.
That's a wild statement. I mean, that's a wild statement.
Type me if you're down to hang out with him tonight.
Oh, man. That almost reminds me of Christmas coming once a year.
The game starts at 6 o'clock Central Time, so he should be going live in 40 minutes.
Bayou Raider, man. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love the energy from my guy, Bayou Raider. What up, Bayou? I mean, that's wild, dude. Rebel said, need a deal. All right, Reb. You need a deal? All right, here's the deal. This is a wild deal. If anybody gets to 25K XP, I'll do a boot, and you're in the Fantasy Football League. If you get to 25 XP, first person to do it, you're in. If nobody gets in, and nobody gets to 25 XP tonight, 25,000, then we'll do the top 10. If somebody says, you know what, I'll get to 25,000 XP, and you do it first, the first person to do it gets in. Which, I mean, it would be wild. Don't get me wrong. It would be a boot from me, no doubt, and you get into the Fantasy Football League. If nobody gets to 25,000 XP, then we will do the top 10 deal like we mentioned. That's my deal right now. Because that could open up a can of worms, and I don't know. Caleb G says, definitely watching the Browns and Panthers. I think you have to watch Shadeur Sanders tonight. If you're a football fan, I think you have to, man. I think you have to. Duca, what are the rules of the Fantasy Football League? I actually don't know yet. I do know this. I'm a big, I want quarterbacks to be valuable. So because of that, I typically do 2 quarterback leagues, or your flex can be a QB. I usually like to do half-point PPR. I don't like standard or just PPR leagues. And in a world right now, I think we're going to have 14 people in the league. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to have 14 people in the league. Probably going to be 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, tight end. If I can't do 2 QBs, again, that flex position is going to be able to be a quarterback. I still do kickers, defense. I think it's, I don't know, I'm maybe a little bit of traditionalist in that way, but yeah, it's going to be fun, man. The draft will probably be at the very end of August, or it's going to end up being during Labor Day weekend, which is when my fantasy draft is for my family, so it'll be around there. I saw somebody ask, Mitch, do you remember your first live? I do remember technically, my first live ever at Chat Sports was my interview. So back in the old days, back in 2017, before I even had a job, Chat Sports, we were a Facebook company. We weren't on YouTube yet. and I had my job interview live on a NFL daily program. And I can remember at the time I lived in Boston, and I remember doing the show I did it basically in my attic because it was like where the best sound quality was. Had my suit on, only from the top though. I was wearing shorts. Suit from top up.
Just the top.
Yeah, it was it's old days, man. I was 23, 24.
Keeping Kush Raider, I actually think that's a perfect question to kick off our mailbag with. So I'm going to put that at the top of our mailbag.
Let's do it.
We're going to get going. Still, if you want to get in, we still have spots, so make sure #Raiders or Super Chat to get on the show. Keep Cushion Raider. I'm actually going to put that as the first question on today's show. So if you want to get on, still a lot of spots, but I think we're ready to get rocking and rolling with this Raiders mailbag.
Let's get through this mailbag, and then after that, I'm going to have to take a leak. I'm not going to lie to you. It's we're going to have to take a little leak, and when I do, I say we do a little tuna clock action. I'm going to have to pee after this mailbag. Once I do, every $5 Super Chat comes in. It's a drink. Not a chug, just a sip, a drink. Cheers to the nation. Raiders Friday happy hour. Shout out to the great tuna. All right, coming up, let's get into this Raiders Report mailbag. And then we're going to do a duck race. Then we're going to do a wheel spin to decide who is that last person getting in the Raiders Report Fantasy Football League. You ready? You ready? Coming up, mailbag time. Let's do it. It's mailbag time here on the Raiders Report. My name is Mitchell Renz, and all the questions and comments that you're about to see on the show are from our live show, which was recorded on August 8th. It was Friday happy hour. Now, I appreciate each and every one of y'all that always tune into these shows, and I like doing mailbags because I want to know what's going on in the minds of Raider Nation, and that's why you should always watch mailbags from the Raiders Report. Let's go to the first one coming in here from Keep Cushion, Raider 808. You think Thayer Munford should get cut because he was playing like absolute garbage, it seemed, like every snap he was getting beat. Shake my you-know-what head. I'll tell you this right now. You're going to watch a 53-man roster video from me. Maybe you saw it on live. Maybe you didn't. I'm not keeping Thayer Munford on this team. And, if our coaching staff's going to talk about commitment to excellence and we're going to talk about going out there and competing, I agree with you. Thayer Munford was a walking turnstile yesterday. He looked completely lost, and I know how difficult it is going from all these different offenses, going from all these different, offensive line coaches, a lot of different moving parts, but you still have to be able to block. And he was atrocious yesterday. Now, there is a part of me that I sit back and I go, well, you're playing him at tackle, and that's on the coaching staff. Thayer Munford can't play tackle. If you're going to keep him on the squad, you got to use him as a guard and as a guard only. But at this point, I can't imagine why the Raiders would keep Munford. I would rather you cut Munford and keep some extra players on the defensive line or keep some extra players in defense in general, because defense is a much bigger eyesore than the offense right now. Let's go to Darian. What up, man? JPJ playing right guard. Do you think it's more of an indictment that Meredith is better at center than Kappa is at right guard? I think JPJ needs to play center regardless, but that's just me. I don't know. And Chugs and I have had some conversations behind closed doors of I've actually wondered, is there a situation going on with JPJ, because it just seems weird to me. And I'm not trying to create any issues with anything, but at the same time, why is JPJ playing into the third quarter of that Raiders preseason game? I'll admit he hasn't played well in the mock game, and he didn't play well yesterday in the preseason game. When I say didn't play well, I mean more of just what I expect from JPJ. JPJ, to me, hasn't met the standard of what I expected him going into this season. But at the same time, I know they want to put the 5 best guys on that offensive line. But, to me, you're kind of – JPJ should be the center. And I don't understand why he's not the center. If you want to put the best 5 guys out there, sure. But right now you're putting Steph Curry at power forward when Steph Curry needs to be the point guard. And JPJ needs to be the center. He should touch the ball every time. It's a better fit for our offense. Let's go to Daniel Meister. Did Dylan Parham play? Yes, but only 4 snaps yesterday. And I think it's really, important to note that the only offensive lineman yesterday for the Raiders that played 4 snaps, because the starters when they went out there was Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Jordan Meredith, JPJ, DJ Glaze. Parham and Miller, they played 4 snaps. Then they came off the field, and then they put their backups in. I do wonder if that means that this team does have a lot more confidence in Parham than maybe what some of us believed. Parham also played at 315 pounds last season. The team listed him at 332. And that was my biggest concern on Dylan is he able to kind of handle, some of these bigger defensive linemen where he struggled. Raiders seem a little bit more confident in him. And after the way Caleb Rogers played yesterday, after the way Munford played, after the way Charles Grant played yesterday, we need Dylan Parham and Colton Miller to stay healthy. Let's go to Sal. What up, Sal? Cam Miller deserves to be quarterback 2, I think. What do you think? Miller was really impressive yesterday. 6 of 7, had a touchdown throw, the 41-yard bomb going up the right sideline to Shedrick Jackson. I'll say this, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm saying it not because I don't think that Cam Miller could be a better quarterback than Aidan O'Connell. I'm saying it as, what is the plan with Cam Miller? If the plan for Cam Miller is for him to be the guy where if Geno Smith goes down, you throw him in there, then maybe you make him the quarterback 2. I don't think that that's the plan for the Raiders. I think the Raiders' plan is you have Geno, let Aidan O'Connell be the backup quarterback, and then when Aidan's contract is done in 2 years from now, right now he's in year 3, year 4 is his final year, you move on from Aidan O'Connell, and then you have a quarterback like Cam Miller who you're not rushing. You let him learn underneath AOC. You let him learn underneath Geno Smith. You let him learn with Greg Olsen, Chip Kelly, or this staff that we have, and then he can be that reliable backup quarterback, because having a reliable backup in the NFL is one of the most underappreciated jobs in the league. It's why teams pay certain guys as much as they do. The Philadelphia Eagles won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. If it was up to me, I would keep Aidan O'Connell at quarterback 2, and I would keep Cam Miller at quarterback 3 to allow Cam Miller to develop, because I don't want to just throw him into the flames, because then you're going to ruin that development. But here's the question here, and I want to know, who do y'all think is the better quarterback? And it's crazy how just a few weeks changes this answer, isn't it? Type AOC for Aidan O'Connell. Type Cam for Cam Miller. Who do you think is the better quarterback? Please let me know down below. I am still going to say that I think Aidan O'Connell is the better quarterback. And he had a bad game against Seattle. He hasn't looked very good this offseason. But I do think that it is tough, and it's something that we got to give credit where credit is due. It's got to be something where also we got to be patient. This is the third different system that he's learning. It's a third different quarterback coach. It's a third different offensive coordinator. A third different head coach, essentially. I think that is a tough thing to do. I also will say that I think Chip Kelly's offense is better predicated for a quarterback like Cam Miller who can move around a little bit more. But if Geno ended up going down, I'm going to be flipping the F out. I would have more confidence in Aidan right now than I would Cam Miller. But that's right now. That might change if we keep seeing what we saw up against Seattle. Let's go to the juicy. Do y'all see Geno flipping off that Jamarcus sign? Hell freaking yeah, man. I always tell y'all, hit that like button. Hit that middle finger button. I don't know if we can get some middle fingers down below. To me, it's kind of hard to be able to sit back in that situation where, you probably felt Geno probably felt that he did so much for that organization, and he did. 6 most wins the last 3 seasons in the National Football League from a quarterback standpoint. And you can't see it in the photo, but Max then starts flipping up the birds. And you know what? I want our quarterback to walk around with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I want Geno Smith to feel like he's got to go out there and prove himself. And to me, Geno is the most Raider quarterback that we've had since I've been covering this team. And if that's the energy we want to bring, I'm okay with it. But if we're going to bring that energy, we better bring it to the field. And that's where I want to see, because flipping birds, doing all that stuff looks really lame when you play the way that you played yesterday. I thought Geno played well. I know 1 of 3, 2 drops. But if we're going to be flipping birds to fans, we better have a better performance than what we had on the field yesterday. And I hope that Max Crosby and I hope that Geno Smith say that to those players out there. Now, if you want to get on a future mailbag reminder, you got to subscribe. You got to turn on those notifications. And anytime I go live, if I tell you that it's a day that we're going to be doing a mailbag, get those super chats in. Get those hashtag Raiders in. One guy that I know is always trying to get it in, my man Ed Robbins, who right now is the MVP of our live show. The starting defense was playing prevent defense. Prevent gets hurt defense. Patrick Graham's system has been a lot of bend but don't break in the past, but the defense, I don't necessarily know if I want to say they were playing prevent defense. The defense, though, was playing soft, and this was a defense that was playing really undisciplined football, and I think undisciplined football looks like guys that are over pursuing, missing tackles, and not setting the edge. And I felt like it was almost like Madden yesterday. We were doing these Madden watch parties where it was like, ball, middle of the field, caught, first down. The amount of times that I felt like I was like missed tackle by the Raiders. Oh, first down, Seahawks, we didn't set the edge. Oh, guy over pursued, he didn't listen to his assignment. It looked like a football team that was a little bit overexcited for just a preseason game. I hope that we reel it in a little bit because I want to beat the 49ers. Let's go to my man Stuttgart out in Deutschland. Is there a chance to sign Simmons or Gilmore? We need both of them. If you had to ask me which one do we need more of / which one's more likely, I'll say Justin Simmons. And again, the Raiders to me are a lot more confident in their outside corners. I know for a fact that our secondary is one of the weakest in the league. And if we're unable to generate pressure, because we were unable to generate pressure yesterday, we're going to get picked apart. And on paper, we're a bottom 5 defense right now. And I hate saying that. And it actually kills me that I'm even saying that right now. But I honestly do believe this. And I will say it to Pete Carroll. I will say it to John Spytek. I will say it to every Raider fan out there. Right now, on paper, we have a bottom 5 defense. Prove me wrong. Because they didn't prove me wrong yesterday. We got beat up by the number 2s in Seattle. Who is one player besides Simmons that we should get from J&D? I'll tell you what, bro. That's a sick freaking whip. I would love that car. It's not the car I was driving, I'll tell you that. You want my honest answer? Jadeveon Clowney. And I'm going to go with Jadeveon Clowney. If I can't say Justin Simmons, I'll go with Clowney. And it's two-part. It's you got the coaching connection to Pete Carroll. You also got to look at what Clowney was able to do the last time he was with Carroll in 2019. Second highest PFF grade. He's had 15.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons. But the Raiders, to me, are just using a lot of these guys on the defensive line. And I've said it before on multiple shows that I've done. The word is tweener. J.J. Pegues, a little bit of a tweener. Tonka Hemingway, a little bit of a tweener. Tyree Wilson, a little bit of a tweener. Jadeveon Clowney, a little bit of a tweener. And I just think we need help on the run defense side. I think we need help being able to get after the quarterback. And on top of that coaching connection, I'm going to go Jadeveon Clowney to answer this question. I'll tell you this, Clowney Raider jersey, it would hit pretty hard. And if you need yourself a brand new Raiders jersey, chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys. Quite frankly, if you don't know the link to get a Raiders jersey after this week of shows that I've done, then you definitely haven't been watching the show. Well, there are a lot of really good deals right now, like the Bowers, the Crosby. Though there is a Crosby jersey that's still under $80, which $79.99 for an NFL jersey in today's day and age is wild. But maybe your significant other, maybe your wife, maybe your kid, if you're looking for a brand new Raiders jersey, if you plan on going to the 49ers, Cardinals, or any Raiders regular season game, this is one of the best deals that I've seen out there. And I keep saying it. I can't believe that this is even still a deal, but they're letting it up there. So chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys. That link is down in the comments. It's in the description. It's also going to be a clickable link if you don't remember chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys. Let's go to my man Blaine Craig. My biggest takeaway was our poor run defense. We couldn't seal the edge consistently, and when we did, we missed too many tackles. Blaine, I know you're a loyal watcher. I think I literally just said all that a few minutes ago. I know this one came in before I said all that, but we're on the exact same page. And yesterday's, I think, game was so frustrating because it looked like an Antonio Pierce coach team yesterday. It did. Whether you're going to get mad at me for that or not, I don't give a shit if people want to get mad at me for it. We look like an Antonio Pierce coach team yesterday. Let's go to Preston. I don't care. I'm going to be harsh, but what good is Ashton if we can't get those gaps open for him to explode? Been saying for years we need to get better tackles. Armin Membu, we got crushed, and it sickens me. Again, like Armin Membu was a player that I loved, and, I'm super happy with Jeanty. I don't want to go hold down the Armin Membu path. Y'all know how I felt about him. But DJ Glaze is a player they're confident. Colt Miller is a player that they're confident. Our tackles are good tackles. I don't want to freak out over too much about 3 carries, -1 yards for Jeanty, because when Jeanty did get a carry with the first-string offense, he picked up 4 yards. The problem was his other 2 carries were blame Thayer Munford, blame Caleb Rogers, blame Charles Grant, because those 3 guys were absolutely they were hard to watch yesterday. And Charles Grant was probably the best one out of those 3, but that's not saying a lot. That's like saying, would you rather have shit or diarrhea? Because it was both bad. Let's go to Christian Tate. Do you think that Mellott makes the team? Do I think Tommy Mellott is the top 53 player on this roster? No. Do I think Tommy Mellott ends up making the team? I just say yes, because when you draft a player that was a quarterback at FCS, when you draft a player that, ended up winning basically the Heisman Trophy for FCS, Tommy touchdown, whatever you want to call him, in my mind, if you're going to convert him to a wide receiver, and that's what they're trying to do, that's a project. And you have to be willing to allow that project to materialize. And it's been a little bit too quick. But clearly the Raiders are showing you that they don't trust him. They're putting 2 guys back there for punt returns with Mellott. They're burying him on the wide receiver depth chart. I mean, he's getting buried down there. And this was a player that I was hoping we'd see a little bit more out of. He also just doesn't look very confident out there on the football field. So I'll ask y'all, do you think the Raiders end up keeping him? Or do you think the Raiders end up cutting Tommy Mellott? This player was drafted in the 6th round, I want to say 213th overall, out of Montana State. Played quarterback, but converted to a wide receiver and special teams guy. My answer is going to be coming up after this YouTube ad break. I'm going to sit up here. I'm going to go, I think the Raiders end up keeping Mellott because of the project. Now, if you told me it's cut day, August 26th, 4 p.m. Eastern time, and Mellott doesn't end up making the roster, I'm going to sit up here and go, man, it must have been a lot worse than I thought. Because the stories that I've heard, the reports that I've heard, Mellott doesn't look like a player that should be on an NFL roster, but he has the talent, and he's somebody that runs a 4.3. He's somebody that athletically is more athletically gifted than Julian Edelman when he was first coming out of college. It takes some time, and you got to be patient, and I hope that the Raiders are patient with him, or else I don't know why you ended up drafting him. You knew it was going to be a project anyway. What up, Suave? Shadeur at Milrow, believer, not afraid to admit. I don't think anybody should be afraid to admit it. I want people to always stand 10 toes and, stand on their beliefs and stand on what they're thinking. Me personally, I don't think Shadeur Sanders is a good NFL quarterback. And I think Jalen Milrow is going to be a really interesting project player because, you can go down 2 paths. I think Milrow could end up having a career maybe like a Jalen Hurts if he finds the right head coach, finds the right system, and shows that he can get better and better as a passer because Milrow's not even close to being an NFL passing quarterback. I actually think a better description could be like a Justin Fields to, a guy like Jalen Hurts, where Hurts found a right coach that was patient with him, and Hurts put in the time, put in the effort, was in the right scheme, got better and better and better, and now he's regarded as, a top 12 quarterback in the NFL, where Justin Fields does not look like that, but Fields also did not get better and better and better as a passer. Watching Milrow yesterday, you can make an argument. He might be the most athletic quarterback in the NFL. I think you can make an argument he's better than Lamar Jackson, better than Justin Fields from an athletic standpoint. From a throwing the football standpoint, he's not even top 50. And you could see that very, very clear yesterday. What up, Daniel Owens? Hot take, maybe, but don't play Jeanty until week 1. The slander after 3 carries is ridiculous. Daniel, I could not agree with you more. He's going to be fine. Psychological warfare until he goes off in week 1 and shuts everybody up. And I don't have a problem with the Raiders putting him out there on the field. And again, if anybody's blaming Ashton Jeanty, they didn't watch the game. If somebody's sitting up there going, oh, Ashton Jeanty's going to be a bust, you didn't watch the game because Jeanty couldn't do anything. And when he was running with the ball, there's a bunch of backup offensive linemen. He averaged 4.0 yards per carry with the starters. So if you want to go with that one, we can go with that one. But I agree with you, Daniel. I think people that are freaking out it's the epitome of overreaction Friday. And sometimes you're going to get that one from time to time. Now, here's the thing. For those of you that do not know, I will say this. The Raiders did not go 14-13. That would be wild. Though, 14-13 records, basically what Shadeur Sanders did. And, hey, that got him in the Colorado Hall of Fame. But if you want to pull up for our NFL preseason Week 2 watch party, I hope that you do. We're going to be the number 1 most watched Raiders 49ers party. Now, maybe our 49ers channel ends up beating us. I hope that's not the case. We're going to end up giving away a jersey. We're going to end up giving away a bunch of stuff. And I promise you this. We had over 100,000 people show up for the first preseason game. Raiders 49ers is going to mean something different. And if you hate the 49ers as much as I do, I hope you subscribe, and I hope that you decide to pull up. You know who's definitely going to pull up? Patrick Roche! Bang! From the top, Roche! The man that more than anybody in the month of July. Patrick Roche. Better late than never. At least we didn't win, but we probably should have. I think maybe at least we didn't lose is maybe the word you're looking for there. You know, what was so funny about yesterday, and it's why I love preseason football games because, you know, it's a little bit more laid back. It's a little bit more loosey-goosey. It turned into I just didn't want Chugs to get a tie. Like, last night's game literally just turned into like, I don't want Chugs to get a tie. But what's crazy is, and I don't know how many of y'all remember this from our first Madden season that we did, but the amount of like shit that happened in that Madden season, like I remember Robert Spillane being an unbelievable coverage linebacker. Ends up having a really good coverage linebacker season. Chugs yesterday, for those that do not know, or not yesterday, our very first Madden sim that we did, the Raiders tied. So it's only fitting. What was the score of that tie?
I think 23-23.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to go back and look. That would be mind-blowing. Oh, wait. Raiders. Who?
It's Patriots.
I typed in Chargers like a complete dummy. All right. Hang on a second here. I'm looking.
Also, breaking news.
14-14.
NBA for the NBA fans out there.
Yep.
Opening night.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be OKC for their ring night, playing up against the Houston Rockets and Kevin Durant. Inject that in my.
When's the game? Oh my God.
Inject it.
Put it in
October
my veins.
21st.
What day of the week is that? Patrick Roche. Cheers to you, brother.
A Tuesday. Also, the start of, or it is also the holiday of Diwali. We all know is the holiday commemorating that one episode of The Office.
To DeWindo to Diwali. No. Not even a chuckle. I appreciate it. Patrick Roche, you're an absolute legend, dude. An absolute freaking legend.
Aggressive Master Raider.
If OK can fit his name on a jersey, I want to buy a Raiders Report custom jersey that fits Master Raider. Make it happen.
It's not really up to us.
I was just going
to
to say,
the jersey provider.
You can do it.
We've actually got turned down, though. If they think it's like a slur or something bad, they will not make it for you.
Correct. Like, there's actually been, like, I know there was one year I had some issues. Sorry, I got to tie my shoe. There was one year I had some issues getting an FUKC jersey, and they were like, oh, you can't do it. And I think, you know, they were probably like, oh, this guy's trying to spell the F word. I was like, no, I'm trying to actually like FUKC for the Chiefs. But they would allow us to do FKC, which is actually why we started doing FKC, which, funny enough, is Casey's name. He's not here today. He's off today. It's just Chugs and I today. All right, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I am going to explode. My belly button might start leaking here pretty soon, or I might just pull the – what was the scary movie where they're peeing out of their finger? You know that or no?
Oh, I do. That's Scary Movie 3.
Scary Movie 3? You know Scary Movie 3? That's probably – yeah, that's way before Aiden's time.
Oh, way before it. I think Aiden was born in 2012. Yeah, close.
When?
2007.
Born in 2007.
Let me know in the chat, what were you doing during 2007?
That's insanity. Born in 2007. What was I doing in 2007?
I was on a site that is now banned in Texas.
That's wild. Oh, man. 2007.
Reed was watching Teen Titans Go.
I was in middle school. Had to be in middle school. So what? I graduated 2011. So it's 2011, 2010, 09, 08. I'm in 8th grade. I got to be in 8th grade in 2007. No, it's not my best years. Aggressive said, I was a junior in high school doing the same thing, Chugs. That's wild. Bye, Raider.
Sick.
Oh, wait. Actually, time out here. Bay Raider. Hang on a second here.
Bay Raider.
Yeah, Bay Raider RG 510. Did you watch the show yesterday?
Now question.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting the wheel ready right now. Am I putting Night Devil in the wheel? Because he's technically in the top 10, but he already has a spot.
No, just put 9 in then.
I can go 11 with Mo.
Yeah, that's fine. Bay Raider RG _ 510. I encourage you to go back and watch the end of that show.
Oh, yeah.
All I want you to do is go back to that live show yesterday, and I want you to watch the very end of it. Not like the very, very end, but there are certain parts where you need to watch. Unless somebody in the chat wants to tell you. But I don't know.
All right, here is the wheel.
Can I go pee first, though? Dude, I gotta go. Like, I'm gonna break. I'm gonna explode.
All right.
I'm sorry.
We'll spin the wheel without Mitch, and then whenever he gets back, we'll sign off.
Oh, we gotta do a duck race.
I know. We'll do it without Mitch.
What, the duck race too? I can give you the phone. No, I gotta pee. I'm sorry. I gotta go. Every 5.
Every 5 is a beer bong? No, every 5 he said he'll do a sip of beer. Oh, my God. Rich Wolf, get out of here with this Warriors slander. Y'all got lucky in the playoffs last year. Warriors sweeping the Houston Curry Suns this season. Get out of here. This is the year that Houston absolutely to the Warriors. I don't want to hear it with Rich Wolf. I don't want to hear it. You know the Rockets are coming. They're coming fast, and they're coming strong. Rich Wolf. Do you have a favorite NBA team? Cavs? Oh, wow. We got a Cleveland Cavs fan. They actually kind of flamed out in the playoffs as well. Did they trade one of those guys, Darius Garland? For LeBron? LeBron coming back home? Maybe. Maybe. Rich Wolf, you already know the Rockets are taking it to the Warriors this year. The Warriors are done. They're absolutely done. Keep cushion, Raider. Right now, you're on the wheel. You have to be top 10 in XP to get on the wheel, and how you do that is through Super Chat and through commenting. So I can show you the top fans on the top fans right now for today's live show. You're in it right now, unless something changes. Here are the top 10. Night Devil's already in the Fantasy Football League, so I'm going to do the top 11. So Mo is going to be in it as well for the wheel. So I'm going to spin the wheel. Oh, put that back up. I'm going to spin the wheel, and then we're going to see who gets a spot, because shout out to Raider Ron. He won yesterday, but he's obviously already in the Fantasy Football League as well. Quick reminder, at the end of today's show, I'm going to drop a link in the chat, and I have a special deal for everybody, which we didn't get any 5s, so Mitch, I'm sorry, you don't get to drink.
Oh, thank
more
God.
Right now. I have a special deal for everybody.
I'm listening.
If we get 3 bangs on our Browns channel, I'm doing a boot over there. If we get 3 bangs on our Browns channel with our new guy, Joey O.D., a.k.a. Jode.
What time's that game start?
6. So he's going live in 10 minutes.
All right, you know what?
5 bangs in a boot race.
Well, you said 3 bangs, you'll do a boot. 5 bangs.
We'll boot race.
4 bangs. And I'll boot race Chugs.
No, Steven, I said it was Jode. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Jode. J-O-D.
Yeah. I don't know where you're getting this other word.
Come on, man.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
If you guys, I'm not kidding you, I said 4 bangs on our Brown show, our new guy would lose his mind. Like, and again, you know, it's one of those things where you always remember your first. I don't know if you do, Aiden, but you always remember your first. And, you know, you get the opportunity when, you know, you can sit up here, you're going to meet a bunch of people he's nervous. And, today, one of my jobs here at Chat Sports is I'm one of the guys that's in charge of, kind of like helping guys out with when they go live for the first time and just, telling them, like, here's what we got to do from a sponsorship standpoint. It's one of my responsibilities that some of y'all don't know about what I do here. He's nervous, and, like, I think it would be an opportunity for him to loosen up a little bit, for him to have a good time. And I always say this about Raiders fans and the Raiders fans that watch this show. When you guys do some of the crazy stuff that y'all do on other streams, it is sometimes like the biggest.
Let's go hard for Jode.
Like it's one of the biggest, dapped it up. It's like, I don't need you to buy a drink for me, but if you bought a drink for my wife, I respect that a little bit more. And he would lose his mind if it happened over there. So,
oh yeah.
That's going to be the deal that I'm going to give y'all. 4 bangs on that Brown show. Chugs and I are going to boot race, and I think he would lose his flipping mind.
All right. Here are the names that are in, and I actually just realized Patrick Roche. Is he already in as well?
Roche is already in.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take number 12. I'm going to take Patrick Roche out because he's already in that bad boy. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to give that spot to Daniel Owens.
Blaine, please, dude. Please, Blaine.
What?
Blaine's like, I might have to pop his bang cherry. I mean, bro, he's never gone live before. Like, he's going to go live for the very first time in 7 minutes.
Mitch, what's the difference? Darth Fatass, what's the difference between the Cowboys and Chick-fil-A?
Neither are open on Sunday?
Yep.
Darth, I'm getting to know you too well, man. I'm getting to know you too well, Darth. It's all right, though, Darth. It's all love. All right, so whoever this lands on is in the Fantasy Football League. Also, did Bay Raider RG _510. Are you still here? If you are, Venmo me $1 at Mitchell Renz 365. If you're like, I don't have a Venmo, make one. It's free.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Here we go.
Who's getting in the Fantasy Football League? This is a pretty big deal. I'm not going to lie. Oh, Darth. Let's go. Come on, Darth. Come on, Darth. You're so effed, dude. I'm going to name my team Darth Fatass, just so you know.
Steal it so he can't use it?
He can't use it. Or I'll go Darth Fartass. That way it doesn't get blocked.
Yeah.
Darth! You in. Darth, I hope you bring your A game, man. I hope you bring your A game. Though, I hope your fantasy football skills aren't as good as your dad joke skills, because then I'm in trouble.
Yeah, that could be bad.
It could be bad, man. Congrats to Darth. You're in the Fantasy Football League. If you don't know who is in the league, we got Fabian Moreno, Rebel Montana, Raider Ron, Yoda Jenkins, Patrick Roche, Darth Fatass, and this guy right here.
And Meech.
And Mr. Meech.
All right, last point of order, duck race. Let's check if all the names are in.
No, not all the names are in. All right, I'm looking at some names here. Who's the MVP right now on this show? XP-wise. Let me see. It looks like it's Ed Robbins. All right, Ed, you know what? Since you're a legend, I got your duck. Maybe that way you can win. Ed, you in. We got IKAIKA. You're in. I don't know how to pronounce that, and I'm really sorry.
Akaika.
Akaika? Paul
Maybe.
Maxwell? I have absolutely no idea. Darth Fatass, you in. $20 Venmo right now. You'd have the opportunity to go home with $180 because Patrick Roche also decided to get it in. Also decided to get it in.
All
Final chance for you.
And in honor, we have...
Oh, Anthony Green, of course. Bro, you wait. You're just waiting until the last moment.
I'll put him in as well. Anthony Green. In honor of... We have actually
Anthony
one of the...
Green only drinks during last
We have one of the youngest members of Chat Sports in office today. Intern Aiden is at the Chat Sports studios. And in honor of Aiden, because I think he was born in 2015, I went ahead and I did something that he would actually probably know about. We're going to do the Italian brain rot.
Okay. I'll tell you this. There's a lot of brain rotting going on right now. All right, I'm going to look one more time at my phone. I need you to add Soldier Man. Hey, blame Soldier. That's on you, Soldier Man.
So a cool 20.
Yep. That's fine. Slew. Yep, he knows. Slooja Man. Slooja Man. Good luck to you.
All right, here we go.
Oh, one more. Paul Maxwell. Last one. I swear to God, last one. That's it. If you send in another, it's just going to Chuck's college fund. My dog's trying to get into Barkley. He's a good boy.
All right.
You ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. All right, you already did it. False start. Jeremy Chugs. I'll tell you this right now. Sergio Perez. Which one's the creep? Like, which one is the last one you would want to run into? Aiden, what's the last one you would want to run into? The teacup?
Oh.
Soldier Man.
Do you know any of the Italian brain rot names? Yeah. Do you know tongue sahur? Oh my gosh, wow.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
Dude, that's the bat.
The bat?
Victor Lobos. He's
You're saying that's the actual name of it.
Yeah, tongue sahur.
So these are actual characters.
Yes.
That's insanity. I thought it was just the most random shit people.
No, they're actually like.
You know, it was like that South Park episode where it's like the kids like their dreams, they go to that.
Land?
Yeah, that's this to me.
South Park is a animated show.
Victor Lobos.
Tongue sahur.
Bro, you better. Victor, dude, you better chill. You're getting aggressive, dude. You're gonna make a mess on my screen here. Honestly, I can't. Put that bat away. I'll tell you what. If there's one guy that does a lot of winning in a duck race, it's Victor Lobos. That was what, for 210? 210. I'm going to look to see how many times Victor has won a duck race. I think it's going to surprise some people. Let me see here.
He's won 53 times.
Victor won 17 days ago. He won also on July 8th. He won on June 3rd, May 30th. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times he's won since May 1st. Yeah,
I've never won.
Never?
Never.
Really?
Never won.
Yeah, you're probably right there.
Let me know. Who's down to go get down with our new Browns guy, JOD, #Jode? Because we have a deal. 3 bangs, I'm doing a boot. 4 bangs, Mitch is doing a boot on our Browns channel with new host, Joey O'Donnell, a.k.a. The Jode.
The Jode.
I'm putting the link in the chat right now.
You guys want to go over there, have some fun?
I'm putting the link in there, and I'll be watching.
You want to go over, have some fun?
If you drop 3 bangs over there, I'm doing a boot. We didn't tell him this deal, so I want to see his reaction, just natural reaction to getting just banged to start his show.
Bay Raider at Mitchell Renz 365. Just add me as a friend. The way I think the easiest way to do it, send me $1. I'll just send you the $1 back. Best way to do it.
All right. For me, for Mitch, hopefully we see you on our Browns channel. Go show some love to the new guy. He's first live show, popping his Chat Sports cherry, and you want it to be memorable. You want it to be enjoyable.
If the booth I'll do over there, Miller time for Cam Miller. David Zom milkshake.
Let's
Peace
go.
out. Have a good weekend. If any breaking news happens, you already know I'll be live on the channel.
And Darren, it is the Chat Sports Browns channel with our new host, JOD, #Jode.